welcome to the Astranti Strategic Analysis for the Operational Case Study exam of August 2019, where we are looking at AKL Sparkle. So in this video, we're going to be performing a strategic analysis on the pre-seen company AKL Sparkle. And to do that, we'll be using the Rationale Model. And the output of that model will be to give us a business strategy for AKL Sparkle going forwards. And the purpose of that will be to help you in your exam when it comes to making good, relevant, useful, logical business recommendations in the exam that are in line with the company's strategy. Okay, so first let's start with a quick introduction of the company. Just to remind you, maybe it's been a little while since you've looked at the pre-scene, maybe you've watched the other videos. Let's just do a very quick recap in the context of this video just to get us started. So AKL Sparkle is the pre-scene company in this case, and they are designing and manufacturing silver beads for their bracelets, and they sell these together with bought-in bracelets to a range of retailers. So we're dealing with a company that are in the fashion jewelry industry. They design and manufacture their own beads, they buy in bracelets, and they sell those to retailers. So they only sell to other businesses, they don't sell to the end consumer. They're based in a made-up country called Newland, which is in Asia, and they've been trading since 2015. The founding members started the company in 2015, and they are a husband and wife team who are still directors, and they own and run the company to this day. Their growth has been rapid. They started as an artisan silversmiths back in 2005. They had 4 members of staff. Now they are a large company. They have a large purpose-built factory which employs 129 staff today. So rapid, very rapid, significant growth in the past 15 years since the company started. So there's a quick recap of the company. Obviously, there's a lot more to the company. We'll be exploring that as we go through, but that's a good starting place. Okay, so let me tell you a bit about the model we're going to be using. You may have come across this before, but you may not. It's called the Rationale Model, and the idea is that it helps you come up with a business strategy. And the way it works then is that effectively it has 3 parts. It has the now aspect, so this first circle here, looking at how the company is now at the current date. There's this section over here where we're looking at the future, so what we want the company to be in a few years time, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years time. It's focusing on where we want the company to be. And then the third element is the business strategy. And this is what we come up with by performing the analysis in this model. And so the business strategy is effectively the bridge that bridges the gap between where the company is now and where it wants to be. And that strategy helps to close that gap. So the way we're going to structure this video then, we'll start by looking at where the company is going to be in the future. And we'll be looking at this aspect first, getting a clear picture of where the company wants to be 5, 10 years down the line. And then we're going to look at where the company is now to get a good idea of what's actually going on, what it's doing, what are some of the issues it's facing, but what are some of the things that it is doing well. And then once we've considered both of those aspects, we'll finish by doing a SWOT analysis, which effectively summarizes all the key points that we've looked at. And that SWOT will help us to come up with the business strategy that will get AKL Sparkle from where they are now to where they want to be. So that's how the Rationale Model will work, and that's the structure of this video. So as I said before, the point of doing this kind of analysis is to help you in your exam when you're answering questions. So for example, if you get a question that is based around AKL Sparkle taking on a new project, maybe they're introducing a new product line, maybe they're investing in some other area completely, maybe they're expanding overseas. If you have a business strategy that for this company, you'll be able to give more focused, detailed, relevant analysis of that proposal. So for example, if it's a new product line, if you have the business strategy in mind, you'll be able to analyze whether that new product line is in keeping with the business strategy. Is it going to help the company get from where they are now to where they want to be? And if the answer is no, then that will help you in your analysis or evaluation of that strategy. And perhaps you'll suggest not doing it, and you'll give a lot of reasons why not doing it. You may even suggest that it's not appropriate for the company to do this new product line because it's not in line with the company's long-term strategy. Okay, so let's get on with it. Let's start using this rational model to do our strategic analysis. Okay, so as I said, this first step is all about looking at the future, where the company wants to be or where the organization is heading. And along with this, we're considering its approach to meeting stakeholder needs. Stakeholder needs are very important. We need to make sure that they are being met. And that will come out in the stakeholder mapping that we do towards the end of this section. We're going to start by looking at mission and objectives, seeing if we can identify mission and objectives for the company. And if not, if we can maybe infer or have an educated guess at what they might be. We'll then identify the critical success factors, so the things the company must do in order to succeed. And if they fail to do these things, they stand a chance of not succeeding. And then we're going to look at governance, ethics, and corporate social responsibility. So the way the company is structured and its governance, any ethical issues, and its obligations to corporate social responsibility. So that's going to make up the first half of this video, along with the stakeholder mapping. As I said, we'll do that towards the end of this section to make sure we understand the needs of our stakeholders and what we need to do as a company, as AKL Sparkle, to satisfy those needs. And then in the second half, we'll be looking at where the company is now. But for the moment, we're looking towards the future. So let's get started. Okay, so firstly, we're going to look at a mission. So a company's mission. So the point of a company having a mission is to have that common purpose and focus for the organization. It gives you something all to aim towards. If you got on a boat and the captain set sail and you asked him, okay, what's the goal? What are we doing here? Where are we going? What's our mission? Are we going somewhere? Are we collecting some freight? And the captain says, oh, I don't really know. We're just going to follow the wind and see what happens, and we'll just have a good time. You might think this might not be a successful voyage because we have no common purpose. We can't get everyone together focused on this single thing that we're going to do. So you end up with perhaps demotivation, not clear what the company is trying to achieve. Maybe it just kind of struggles along and doesn't really get anywhere. So the point of a mission is to bring everyone together. It's kind of the core thing that everyone knows the company is trying to do, and it gets you there. It gets you where you want to be. So what we're going to do is use Campbell's model for good mission statements. So Campbell has this sort of theory that good mission statements should have the following elements. So those elements are purpose, strategy, values, and policies. Now, since the company doesn't have a specific mission, and it's not always the case that they will have a mission, we'll just use these key elements and analyze some aspects of the company to see if we can come up with a mission or what the company's mission appears to be based on our interpretation of the pre-scene. Okay, so starting with purpose, this is all about why. Why does the organization exist? Why is it bothering to exist at all? What is it hoping to achieve in the long term? Why did the founders bother to start the company back in 2005? What was their kind of dream? What was their long-term aim? Well, looking at the pre-scene based on the facts and the evidence, it seems that the organization exists, or the people it's trying to attract and target, people who are interested in fashionable, affordable silver bracelets. Now, it's silver bracelets because that's the only kind of products they offer, and the company are in the kind of affordable fashion sector. They're not in fine jewelry, so it's very kind of niche specific thing that they're going after. So this is their purpose at the moment anyway. Maybe the long-term strategy is slightly different. So what are they hoping to achieve? Perhaps they want to be a leading provider. They're certainly the most successful in their particular segment at the moment. In the affordable fashion segment of the jewelry market in Newland, they are the top provider there. So maybe that's what they were hoping to do. Maybe quality comes into it. So maybe they offer the best quality for their particular price range. Perhaps it's more about share or market share or growth. We've seen rapid growth in the company. Maybe the company's purpose was to expand and be perhaps the largest provider of this particular thing. So they're happy with just doing silver bracelets, but they want to be, the world's most renowned or world's best known manufacturer and seller of silver bracelets. That's the issue, is that we don't have a specified mission. So we're kind of trying to see if we can read between the lines and figure one out. So this seems to be their purpose. They're interested in silver beads in the affordable fashion jewelry market. They've grown a lot, and perhaps they want to be kind of the leading provider there in this particular niche segment. That's certainly where they are at the moment. So that's purpose. Strategy is all about how they compete, or basically how are they going to achieve that purpose? What are they going to do differently to competitors to make sure that they, sort of carve out that particular market share or dominate that niche in the market? So for this company, obviously the customizability of their bracelets is important. You can buy lots of different beads and you could have a completely unique bracelet that no one else in the world has. Also variety. So not only is your thing or bracelet unique, you can change it as you're going along. You can vary it up a little bit. You can maybe have a couple of different bracelets for different occasions. You could change your own bracelet for different occasions. So there's a variety. There's new designs coming. There's about 120 new designs every year, 10 new per month. Maybe collectability is part of it as well. So this idea that because there are so many new beads coming out all the time and you have these highly customizable bracelets, then, collecting certain ranges and having these certain things, is a collectability element to it too. So their strategy seems to be this, highly customizable, unique, variety, useful for lots of different occasions. So what about the company's value? What do they stand for? What are their kind of core values that makes them, again, stick out from the competition, or what drives them to achieve their goals? So certainly quality is important to them. That's mentioned several times throughout the pre-scene. They are affordable, but they also make good quality stuff, and that's how they're competing. It's not high-end fine jewelry, which is very, very expensive, but it's good enough quality for its price range, and it's better than the budget cheap stuff. Of course, value for money is important. They're in the affordable section of the fashion jewelry. Affordability is a key aspect of their appeal. People feel like it's worth buying their stuff. It's not a very, very expensive thing, but it's just about cheap enough that you can maybe buy a couple of new beads every few months if that's what you wanted to do. Being up to date with the new or the latest trends is obviously important, specifically for the creative director. That's something she's very passionate about, and it seems to be that because the company are constantly introducing new lines, they very much want to be ahead of the curve and kind of determining the new fashion for the season rather than following it. Another one is ethical. Several points throughout the pre-scene, there are ethical considerations. So they have ethically sourced silver, for example. There are ethical considerations regarding the way they treat their employees. They are paid a living wage. Employee welfare is very high. So they're an ethical company. They are concerned about the ethics of operating as a business, and that comes through in the company, and it probably forms a key part of their values. And so finally, we look at policies. These are the policies that people are expected to follow that ensure people act according to defined values. So if these are the values, what policies do the company have in place to ensure that these values are being met? Well, in terms of actual policies, we know that the company have sort of this plan or these policies towards their staff. So the living wage is paid, high staff welfare. So we might say that that is a policy that ensures that we have ethical treatment of staff. Ethical sourcing as well. We know that the silver is ethically sourced, so that certainly reaches the ethical values. As for the other ones, so quality, there are many quality sort of aspects to the production process. I don't know whether you'd call that a policy necessarily. So this is why we've only listed the kind of employee and ethical sourcing as policies. The others are kind of just operational processes. Okay, so taking all of this, then their mission statement might be something like to be the top quality provider of fashionable, affordable silver bracelets that are highly customizable and have many varieties, yes, something along those lines. So it takes into account these factors. So this is who they're going at: fashionable, affordable silver bracelets. They want to be a top quality or leading provider. They do that by making their products highly customizable. They have a wide variety, and obviously affordability, value for money, quality. Ethical is one thing we missed out there. So we have ethically sourced silver, and we treat our staff well. You might feed that into a mission statement, and if it covers all these key areas, then it would be a good mission statement. Now, obviously, the company doesn't have a mission statement, and the lack of a mission statement might be in itself maybe a disadvantage. So the fact that it doesn't have one, that means the company maybe lack this common purpose, common focus, and so developing one along these lines would help the company to focus, and that would be something that would help them to get to where they want to be. So just before we finish, I'd like to take you through some of the products we offer in the entire case study course. So this is just one element of the whole course, and I'll just go through the other things that we offer here. So to start with, we have a study text that is devoted to the operational case study, and that's split into two parts. The first part is a guide to how to pass the case study exam. It's full of exam tips, exam strategy, time management, preparation and planning, how to write to the marking criteria, all those kinds of things. And then part two of that study text is a condensed version of all the relevant material of the kind of things that come up in the exam over and over. So essentially, it's the most popular topics that have come up in past exams from E1, P1, and F1. And so those are the two study texts available for the operational case study course. And we also do course videos that are roughly based around that first study text. So the exam advice and the timing, the planning, all the things that go in to preparing an exam strategy. We have an entire series of videos that go through that in detail. So if you're more of a visual learner rather than a reader, you can check those out, and they'll be a great help in getting you past the exams. The pre-scene analysis is the series of 6 videos where we look through the actual pre-scene in minute detail, going through every paragraph, making notes, and looking how we can use this information to better prepare for the exam when the exam comes up. Separate from that is an industry analysis, and that is a document and a video as well. So the two are in tandem, and the document is about 100 pages looking at the industry in which the company exists. So for example, if the case company is in the car and they're a car manufacturer, then the industry analysis would be an analysis of the car industry. And that's like I say, that's a large document where we break it down, and we're essentially, the point of that is we're doing the research for you to save you time and energy. And the really great thing about the industry analysis is that we include 25 industry examples at the end. So things that happened in the real industry. So the example I just used, it being the car industry. If we were doing the car industry, we'd take 25 examples from the car industry of relevant news and things that have happened to companies and to the industry and consumers or whatever it is. As when we get from those 25 examples, we write a little exam paragraph, the kind of thing that you can literally rehearse and put it in your exam if it's relevant. Examiners do like to see that you have a wider industry knowledge, and so putting in a little example like that can get you good marks. We do mock exams. For the operational case study, we write 3 mock exams, and we have a free mini mock that you can do that are based on the actual CIMA style case study. So they're computer based, they're online, and they're timed, and it's as close to the real thing as we can possibly make it. and that's a really good way to prepare you for the exam. Each time we write our questions based on the pre-scene that's just been released. And with those mock exams, you can get marking and feedback, and that's really essential for you to, if you do your mock exams, I would recommend also getting marking and feedback, because you can then see where you went wrong or what you did well. And the feedback allows you to improve on that. Really important part that a lot of students skip over, and they really struggle in the exam because they weren't prepared, they hadn't done the mock exams. We have masterclasses that run over a course of 2 separate weekends, running up to the exam, and they're a live, essentially a live online class webinar where our tutor will go through with you the kind of a revision one where we're recapping on the most important topics from the E1, P1 and F1 syllabus, and one will be sort of more exam focused. And then finally, we offer pass guarantee, which means that if you meet all the requirements, so you use all these different products that are available, and you fill in a checklist to say that you've done those, but you still don't pass your exam, you're unfortunate or whatever, then we will allow you to resit our course, to take our course again at no extra charge. That's really great for people who are perhaps taking it for the first time and they don't quite pass, but they need to take the course again. If you've gone through that scheme and you've done everything that we ask you to do, then we'll give you the course again for free.